diversify the tourist industry. First, via supporting the orange economy by organizing and supporting. Government's efforts have been multifaceted to boost tourism in our region, including a comprehensive bus terminal and beautification of the Philipsburg area. Government, via the Tourism Bureau, will continue to focus. Government's plans are execution of the Memorandum of Understanding with the other Dutch Caribbean islands are the engine of our economy because they are strong economic growth drivers. Government recognizes this and therefore supports this sector in the following manner. The Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Development Program will be transformed into an entrepreneurial development center with a focus on post-startup services and support. Government has partnered with stakeholders to provide opportunities for micro-businesses to showcase their products. Government fairs and events in Philipsburg at different intervals throughout the year. Government is also paying keen attention to the developments in the cruise industry regarding lowering their carbon footprint by consuming more sustainable energy and the possibilities this may offer the country by providing this sustainable energy to the many cruise vessels that visit our port. Despite these positive developments, St. Martin still faces significant challenges. The vulnerability to external shocks, such as natural disasters and global economic downturns, demands continued focus on disaster preparedness and building resilience. Emphasizing sustainable tourism practices will be crucial in preserving the environment and ensuring the tourism industry's longevity. Government plans on sustainable tourism practices and preserving the environment are as follows. Government plans to establish the establishment of a nature park encompassing the island of Little Key in Simpson Bay Lagoon. The proposed establishment of the Little Key Nature Park aligns with St. Martin's draft development plan for Simpson Bay, which designates the island as nature and the surrounding waters as water natural value. These designations emphasize the commitment to conserve, restore, develop, and manage the natural and ecological values of the area, with restrictions on construction and emphasis on nature-oriented recreational activities. In partnership with the St. Martin Nature Foundation, government developed the Corena Project, Coastal Resilience Needs Assessment, for funding through the Resilience, Sustainable Energy and Marine Biodiversity Program. The goal of Project Corena is to advance progress towards the sustainable and resilient area-based spatial management of the marine and coastal environment of St. Martin. The project will achieve this by executing a number of studies around the marine and coastal environment, including baseline biodiversity assessments, socioeconomic valuations, and an assessment of coastal and marine risks and vulnerabilities. Through this project, government staff will also receive capacity training in basic and advanced GIS, Geographic Information System Analysis, supporting the future development of evidence-based policies for the sustainable development of St. Martin. Furthermore, the project will carry out a targeted education and awareness campaign and conduct research into effective behavioral change interventions. Project Corena is currently beginning its formal implementation and is projected to run until the end of April 2024. In addition to this project, government has collaborated on and co-funded with the Harbour and the St. Martin Marine Trade Association an economic impact study on the maritime industry. In order to improve the management of solid waste, government has initiated the Integrated Solid Waste Management St. Martin project. The objective is the establishment of a solid waste authority that will be responsible for all elements of the solid waste management system, consisting of the introduction of tariffs, the collection of fees, and the subsequent management of the solid waste through a solid waste authority in the coming 5 years. The project is on track to deliver, amongst others, a proposed legal form for the Solid Waste Authority, the necessary draft legislation, and the vision on solid waste management for St. Martin in 2030. Government's policy plans on disaster preparedness and building resilience encompasses a varied range of areas from disaster management in itself, fostering resilience learning, to building codes and ICT. Preparations are in process for a memorandum of understanding between SABRE, St. Eustatius, and St. Martin to strengthen the working relationship in the field of disaster management. It has been realized that the dependencies between these three islands are such that such an MOU is vital. Recently, the Kingdom Council of Ministers has approved the accession of St. Martin to the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency as a full-fledged participating state. It is expected that this accession will be formalized during this parliamentary year. This will allow St. Martin to further integrate into the regional disaster management community, as well as share experiences and build capacity. Government is embarking on a project that will secure the development of the framework for the institutional structure for the Office of Disaster Management. This will include implementing processes, administrative procedures, roles, and responsibilities for the proposed Office of Disaster Management in keeping with regional and international best practices. This will ensure that a harmonized and comprehensive approach to resilience is taken to better address the challenges posed by climate change, new diseases, and changing socio-economic contexts. The Fostering Resilient Learning Project, which has received a funding allocation of $26.8 million from the Trust Fund, is making steady progress. The project is actively engaged in three main components: rebuilding of inclusive schools, restoring library services, and strengthening the management information system in education, culture, youth, and sports. Moving on in 2023 and into 2024, the project aims to conduct workshops to build the capacity of stakeholders in developing maintenance plans for the newly constructed facilities. Overall, the Fostering Resilient Learning Project seeks to improve the resilience of the education sector and enhance services in education, culture, youth, and sport for the betterment of society. The situation analysis and target group assessment has been finalized and will be incorporated in the special needs policy that will inform the special needs program for the new to be constructed schools, anticipating the opening of the doors in 2025 for the Sister Marie Laurent School and 2026 for the Charles Leopold Bell School. The Child Resilience and Protection Project, with an allotted amount of $5 million continues to be implemented by the UNICEF Netherlands in close collaboration with the government. The project's focus is on building child resilience and strengthening the systems and institutions for child protection. Government is currently in the final stages of having the new National Building Code implemented and intends to do this before the end of this year. Once the building code is implemented, St. Martin will build in accordance with new building regulations that are aimed to reinforce our built environment and make buildings more safe, resilient, and sustainable to withstand higher category hurricanes and other natural disasters. From an ICT perspective, government will continue with its focus on, first, strengthening the organization's infrastructure, second, increasing the cybersecurity environment, and third, digitizing business processes for various departments. In focusing on these three key areas for the remainder of 2023 and the start of 2024, emphasis will be on improving disaster recovery and business continuity for a quick continuation of business operations in the event of a disaster, introducing additional security features to the organization to increase and strengthen the cybersecurity environment. This includes introducing a cybersecurity awareness program for the organization and continued digitization of business processes throughout the organization to improve the efficiency of service delivery for both internal and external stakeholders. Improving the efficiency of service delivery for internal and external stakeholders is a priority for government this parliamentary year. In addition to improving service, the following policy initiatives should also go a long way towards eliminating the plaguing issue of different departments within government operating as organizational silos and the people being pushed from pillar to post. The phased launch of an online services for business licenses marks a significant step forward in streamlining the process and improving efficiency. Through careful restructuring of work processes, government aims to achieve higher levels of productivity and effectiveness and faster processing times for business owners, ultimately improving the level of service. Government will be implementing change management as a catalyst to improve service standards. Several key support divisions will be undergoing processes of change management within the coming months. The purpose of these initiatives will be to focus on capacity building and training, establishing standards, policy evaluation and implementation, improved shared services, internal and external clientele, asset management, digitalized work processes, and the implementation of sound procurement and HR practices. The ultimate objective of this trajectory and part of the wider institutional reform initiatives is to ensure a collaborative, compassionate, service-minded, transparent, effective, and cost-efficient operation. With the Digital Government Transformation Project, government envisages a digitally enabled public sector that provides resilient, secure, and high-quality services that are easily accessible by all citizens and businesses in St. Martin. Government strategy guiding this process is founded on 6 core principles. 1. User-centric design and delivery of public services. 2. Digital by default, yet inclusive and accessible. 3. Single data requests. 4. Trustworthy and secure. 5. Open and transparent. 6. Interoperability by default. In applying these principles, the government proposes an ambitious plan of activities for the next 7 years built around 4 strategic objectives. These objectives are building a technologically empowered public sector, improving the quality, efficiency, security, and accessibility of public services, developing a modern legal and institutional framework, and ensuring that the public can access and use the new possibilities. In addition to this, government will be digitizing key historical government archive records to create a virtual archive, which will be accessible to the public. This digital government transformation project is funded by the Trust Fund. Another project funded by the Trust Fund is the Housing Project. St. Martin has long faced a crisis in affordable housing, a situation that was significantly intensified by the widespread destruction caused by Hurricanes Irma and Maria in 2017. To combat these difficulties, the Trust Fund Steering Committee has designated a budget of $20 million for a comprehensive housing project. The scope of this project includes the following objectives: enhance the capability of the St. Martin Housing Development Foundation to construct and administer affordable housing for lower income groups in a financially sustainable manner. Boost the proficiency in implementing a national housing policy, strategic planning, and programs for social, affordable, and market rate housing. Build new mixed housing units, social and workforce, for rental by lower income households and the workforce target group under the management of the SMHDF. The operational relationship between government and the SMHDF is dictated by a performance agreement signed in June 1997. Both government and the SMHDF recognize the current performance agreement is outdated and requires a comprehensive review. The revision of the performance agreement is anticipated to occur during the project's preparation phase and finalized by December 2023. Government is also aiming at carrying out the following social programs. Government is committed to strengthening and expanding the safety nets available for the vulnerable population. This is done through the execution of various programs, a few of which are the Social Registry, the Home Repair Program, Women Empowerment, and the Alzheimer's Conference. The intention of the Social Registry is to map the most vulnerable households within the community, proactively provide assessments and assistance with existing social programs and services in order to improve the delivery and quality of services. The data received through this system helps shape future policies and legislation, plan for new projects and programs, and plays a vital role in disaster risk preparedness or response. The expectation is to roll out the pilot this month. In addition, government plans the following social reforms: financial aid reform, the establishment of an unemployment fund replacing the cesantía, and creating better purchasing power for the elderly and minimum wage earners via indexation. The Home Repair Program, which is a continuation of the Department of Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs 2017 Recovery Program, targets the most vulnerable groups, elderly, single parents, unemployed, in our community who do not have the means to repair their homes. After completing the Home Repair Project in 2022, it was revealed that there was still a group of clients whose homes had not been fixed due to their financial and social circumstances.
You're listening to a special edition of Gov Insider, where we're bringing to you the speech delivered by His Excellency the Governor of St. Martin, where he elucidated on the policies of government for the coming year. Stay tuned. The address of the Governor continues after these public service announcements.
St. Martin Gov Radio, 107.9.
I want a blanket.
Children experience hurricanes differently than adults. There may be possible physical, mental, educational, and emotional effects. Before a storm or hurricane, here are some methods to cope. Prepare your child to deal with the many issues. Explain to them what a hurricane is and its effects, and do so using simple age-appropriate words. In addition, as you prepare to hurricane-proof your home, let your child or children contribute in helping out. During a storm or hurricane, keep them safe, keep them busy, keep them calm. Play games, read. A tropical storm or hurricane presents a great deal of stress and some shock, but being prepared will ease your children's mind, especially after a storm or hurricane. To learn more on how you can keep yourself and your family safe this hurricane season, visit the official government website at stmartingov.org/hurricane. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Department of Communication. Smoke wrap advisory still in effect. Right now, partly cloudy with a possible brief shower in the forecast. Winds are southerly to southeasterly, 4 to 12 miles per hour. Sea conditions moderate to rough. Waves and swell 6 to 8 feet. 91-degree high with a low of 82.
St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9.
You're listening to a special edition of Gov Insider, where we're listening to the speech delivered by His Excellency, the Governor of St. Martin, Ajamu Bailey, as he talks about the policies of government for the coming year.
The homes of these clients are severely damaged, and there are currently no other home repairs projects to which these clients can be referred. Hence, government has finalized the approval of the implementation of a second phase of this project. In response to the global issues such as domestic violence and violence against women and children, government executed empowerment programs that focus on women. Government, in collaboration with the Listening Companion, facilitated a community-based support group for single parents to improve their parenting and life skills. This will be achieved through empowerment, inspiration, and interactive life coaching, as well as through encouraging the expansion of their village and network of relationships and the maintenance of responsible parenting practices. On the topic of Alzheimer's and dementia, government is supporting the activity of local and international organizations to better educate professional and informal caretakers on how to better deal with these diseases. A conference on this topic will take place this month. A new list of maximum prices for the basket of goods has been released in the third quarter of 2023. Enforcement of this list is supported by an online platform in which the community can report any violation. Thus far, while both verbal and documented warnings have been issued, fines have not been imposed yet, as government is allowing businesses to adjust to the new system. However, active enforcement along with fines will commence later in 2023, as sufficient time has elapsed for these businesses to comply. Although this measure may not completely eliminate the high cost of living, it will improve the purchasing power of the people. Which brings me to labor. Government is tackling labor issues through the implementation of policy as outlined in the country packages E1, Labor Market Policy, E3, Illegal Employment of Foreign Workers, and E4, Social Security. From the research conducted on labor market policy and social security, several recommendations have been highlighted that government aims to carry out. Some of these are modernizing the current employment permit system, further amendments to curb the abuse of short-term contracts and strengthen job security, regulating temporary employment agencies, and further increases to the pensionable age. An interministerial pilot project is currently being carried out, which allows for the regulation of illegal foreign employment. This project will end in the fourth quarter of 2023, after which an evaluation of the project will take place. In addition, government has developed an online job portal. The job portal will serve as the primary tool for the National Employment Service Center and will aid significantly in boosting job matching process between employers and suitable job seekers. While the impact of COVID has significantly decreased, government still provided vaccines on request for those persons who would require such. Presently, the focus is placed on better understanding the impact of non-communicable diseases, NCDs, mental health, and healthy lifestyle choices. Government is presently carrying out the PAHO, World Health Organization, Non-Communicable Diseases STEP survey. The information gathered via this survey will help prioritize and develop relevant prevention programs such as health promotion campaigns, population screening programs, guidelines for early detection and management of diseases at the primary care level, including lifestyle counseling, and guidelines for the management and follow-up of people with NCDs by specialized healthcare services. Government has continued to make it a priority for appropriate steps to be taken to execute the necessary improvements needed to support the mental health sector in St. Martin. These steps include, but are not limited to, the development and improvement of legislation, policy, protocols, and ways of financing the various care products regarding mental health, the development of quality standards for mental health, conducting of various types of analysis and assessments related to mental health, the development of an updated national mental health plan, and the development and implementation of a mental health project via the National Recovery Program Bureau. Government is aiming to execute a healthy breakfast program which will impact healthy lifestyle choices for youth to be further carried out within their adult lives. Healthy lifestyle choices of the general public will be an important aspect of the success of the general health care insurance. Government aims to have this legislation passed before January 1st, 2024. On the topic of youth, for the remaining months of 2023, government will focus on finalizing and implementing the National Positive Parenting Support Program, which serves as a tool for enhanced child protection, the Violence Prevention Program, the promotion of meaningful youth participation among the youth population, and the development of a training plan for government workers and NGOs on the topic of integrating meaningful youth participation. Following the completion and posting of the sport facilities policy in 2021, it was provided guidance for planned repairs being executed by the NRPB at the school gyms and sports facilities, as well as the planned upgrades of the field and the track at Rahul Illich Sport Complex through capital investments. Government continues to support the sport organizations through the development of child safeguarding guidelines. During the fourth quarter of 2023, child safeguarding trainings will be conducted in collaboration with government and UNICEF with the coaches. In collaboration with NGOs and the private sector, government is striving to establish and promote Phillipsburg as a cultural capital. This endeavor will be in close connection with organizing the creative industries as a viable alternative to the tourism industry. Intertwined with this undertaking is the aspiration to participate in the upcoming Carifesta and bring Carifesta to St. Martin before 2030. The repair work in schools for both students and staff has been ongoing, albeit at a gradual pace. Out of a total of 19 schools that required repairs, 6 of the most severely damaged ones have been successfully fixed. The remaining 13 schools are currently undergoing repairs and improvements. Additionally, the government has planned the construction of 2 new educational facilities, and these facilities are being designed with an inclusive education approach in mind. The focus is on retrofitting the new buildings to cater to the needs of even the most vulnerable students with diverse requirements. Government aims to establish a new learning institute that will serve to provide courses and training to its law enforcement professionals through established and recognized curricula. Continuous learning and lifelong learning, which will help foster a culture of perpetual professional growth and development, will be the pillars that the Law Enforcement Institute of St. Martin will rest upon. In 2023, the Professional Development Program for Teaching Professionals continued. The program assists school boards in providing opportunities for school teachers with dispensation to qualify as a teacher on St. Martin within 2 years. To improve the careers of teaching professionals further, government will continue with reviewing the education functions and the compensation in 2024. The development of the fleet tracking system for student transportation and the implementation of policy change for a more efficient, effective school busing service leads to the implementation of the digital system and the introduction of new busing agreements in the final quarters of 2023. A few of the policy and research topics government continues the development of are the policy and roadmap for reformed secondary education, the special needs education policy and roadmap for implementation, introduction of assessments of the primary and secondary education cycle, as well as a framework for the accreditation of higher education programs and institutions. As government continues its efforts to promote care and well-being in elementary and secondary schools in order to identify distress among students, a digital screening tool was developed and is currently undergoing a pilot phase in 4 schools. Promoting care and well-being as it relates to safety and security is high on government's list of priorities. Safety and security, or the lack thereof, has a negative effect, actually a double whammy effect on our people. The lack of safety and security has a negative effect first on the well-being of our people, and secondly on our tourism product, which in turn negatively affects our economy, which again negatively affects the well-being of the people. With this in mind, the persistent capacity issues at our prison are a top priority for government. As a result, government has been working on a new facility. The project consists of 2 phases, with phase 1 having officially started with the signing of the host country agreement at the beginning of the second quarter of 2023. The first phase of the project will cover a time span of approximately 20 months. The United Nations Office for Project Services has been tasked to carry out the activities to meet the goals and objectives of the new prison project. Government is in the process of finalizing a policy and strategic action plan for the Violence Prevention Program, which will cover schools, daycare centers, and after-school programs. Additionally, a communication strategy is being developed for the program. This program aims to ensure the safety and well-being of children and youth in various educational settings. With the gaming and gambling reform, government aims to establish an independent gaming authority. The goal is to achieve compliance with CFATF and FATF recommendations, safeguard the industry's integrity, reduce criminality in the industry, and promote responsible gaming whilst increasing the sector's contributions to the National Treasury via fees for online gaming. This, in addition to the funds that will also contribute to the National Treasury as a result of the legislation introducing fees for lottery booths that will soon go into effect. And finally, worthy of note are 3 topics that have been plaguing government and the people for some time now that government is respectively working towards and working towards finalizing. First, in the pursuit of enhancing the road infrastructure, government is dedicated to realizing a road network that not only attains high standards of quality, but also effectively accommodates the necessary volume of motor vehicles on the island. This will be done via the resurfacing of key main roads and the transformation of numerous dirt roads into durable concrete surfaces. This will be made feasible through a dedicated capital expenditure budget. Government is working on establishing a dedicated road fund, as prescribed in the Motor Vehicle Tax Ordinance, that should have significant positive impact for St. Martin's infrastructure. Key general benefits of implementing this road fund and how it can particularly aid St. Martin's infrastructure funding challenges are focused investment and sustainability. A road fund ensures that a portion of resources is consistently allocated solely for road infrastructure projects. This prevents the diversion of funds to other sectors and ensures a steady stream of financial support for development and improvement. Improved maintenance and safety. One of the critical aspects of road network sustainability is regular maintenance. With a dedicated fund, resources can be specifically used for upkeep and repair, preventing the deterioration of roads and reducing the need for more costly repairs down the line. The expansion of roads, the development of alternative routes, and the possibility of the development of public transportation systems. A major challenge that St. Martin currently faces is the heavy traffic congestion due to the insufficient road infrastructure. Adequate funding from a road fund could alleviate this congestion. Second, government has embarked on the strengthening of corporate governance of the public entities via, but not limited to, amending the structure of the National Ordinance Corporate Governance and the Corporate Governance Code, establishing a Corporate Governance Improvement Plan, transforming the Corporate Governance Council into a Corporate Governance Authority by expanding their role and responsibility, and investing in training young professionals to become effective supervisory board members. The airport, which is the focus of the Corporate Governance Improvement Plan, is currently in the process of reviewing and gradually implementing the recommended changes. The project is expected to be completed by mid-2024. And third, government expects to conclude the ongoing work to complete the legislation regulating the legal position of the personnel in the justice chain within short. A budget amendment to that effect will be presented to Parliament for approval. Once this process is finalized, the commencement of the issuing of the national degrees can take place. Mr. Chairman, members of Parliament, our economy is recovering well, and we are seeing a positive impact on the revenue of the country, with pre-Hurricane Irma output now finally expected to be achieved in 2024, leading to an increase in income for the country for the coming years, with the CFT expecting to see surpluses starting from 2024. This, for a great part, due to government's commitment to sound financial management, to the measures as outlined in the country packages, and the financial injection through liquidity loans and the trust fund, but also due to a stable and consistent government for soon to be a complete governing term, due in part to the commitment of government, but also the commitment and support of this esteemed body. But we are not there yet. Although the outlook is positive, this has not yet trickled down to the average Joe and Jane on the street. So much remains to be done. It will take the continued effort of government, Parliament, the private sector, and the IGOs, NGOs, service clubs, and all the people of St. Martin, the entire village, to achieve, maintain, and sustain a brighter tomorrow for us all, and for generations to come. Mr. Chairman, members of Parliament, in this new parliamentary year, government will once again present you with various legislative initiatives towards the execution of its plans and realization of its objectives. As representatives of the people of St. Martin, government looks forward to fruitful, efficient, and effective dialogue, as well as your committed participation. This with the aim of garnering your support to serve the public interest on behalf of the people of St. Martin. Mr. Chairman, members of Parliament, congratulations on the opening of the 13th parliamentary year, 2023-2024. I wish you much success in this new parliamentary year, and I sincerely pray for your wisdom and discernment. Thank you. God bless you and yours, and God bless our great village, St. Martin.
His Excellency Governor of St. Martin, Ajamu Bailey. I'm Cedric Peterson, and this has been your Gov Insider.
Look good. Adam and Steve walking hand in hand. Gog and Magog sodomizing the land. So many worms eating up your apple. Time is running out. Soon you'll be in trouble. Though the apple look rosy on the outside, yet you know that it's rotten on the inside. Though the apple look rosy on the outside, yet you know that it's rotten on the inside. beast sitting on the throne. But the city is built upon dead man's bones. I've seen your crimes and your atrocities. Judgment is now. That is your reality, yes. Though the apple look rosy on the outside, yet you know that it's rotten on the inside. Though the apple look rosy on the outside, yet you know that it's rotten on the inside. Lies and deceit lurking from the belly of the beast, while some living in the lies and illusions. Echoes many seeking solution. My gosh, though the apple look, you know, you know now. Yet you know that it rotten on the inside. Gog and Magog, drunken from the cup of red. Yeah. Devils in disguise, should them trying to hide. Hey, though the apple rosy round the outside, yet you know that it's rotten on the inside. Though the apple rosy round the outside, yet you know that it's rotten on the inside. I, Gog and Magog, drunken from the cup of red. Devils in disguise, ooh, truth them trying to hide. Hey. Babylon the Great come stumbling, revelation fulfilled. Let me tell you. Bum 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 there. Rotten apple, look good. Don't you get tempted? Oh no no no. Rotten apple, look good. Beware my friend. You're looking good from afar. But you're far from looking good. Don't get tempted, don't get tempted, don't get tempted, don't get tempted. Don't you ever take it for food. Don't get tempted, or else you'll get exempted.
I wanna take this time to talk to you. Yeah, the way you make me feel, girl. I just had to sing this one for you. Yeah, girl. It's just the things you do. It draws me close to you. I don't know what to do, so I'm going to express this one for you. Thinking back, I'm still in love with you. This girl one time when I was chilling right on the boardwalk with my boys, and I say she looks so fine, so she walked right up to me and she say hi papi, and I say what's up cutie, oh my god this girl sexy. Then we exchange names, soon enough exchange email, later on went to the club, then I see she getting down. Right now the feeling hot, feels like a cooking pot. It's the way you getting on, makes me wanna hold you down. It's just the things you do that draw me close to you. You moving right in time. I know she feeling me, and I know we're meant to be. But there's no real contest that can come and give me stress, because truly I'm the best, better than the other rest. Like I said before, you know, this girl, she hot for sure. So you know she body nice, bootylicious, yes that's right. My God, she's so that cute, and she got a nice tattoo. I don't know what to do, and she got me hypnotized. It's just the things you do that draw me close to you. You moving right in time, I like the way you are. And it's the things we do, it's just between us two, between you and me, baby girl. You drive me crazy. It's just the things we do. It's just the things we do. It's just the things we do. It drives me close to you.
to the Honorable Ministers of the Council, member of the media, online and Tel TV Plus viewers, radio listeners via St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM and respective radio stations island-wide. I'm Charity Dunker, and welcome to the live Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, September 13, 2023. At this time, I'd like to welcome and invite the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, Sylvia Jacobs, to address you. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Charity. Good morning to the people of St. Martin. Good morning to my colleague minister, and of course to the hardworking staff of Department of Communications, CoM, and their support staff for always being here to support us, to share with the people of St. Martin. It is always an honor for me to be able to do so, and I am grateful for today. Today, Wednesday, September 13th, we're at Hum Day, and many, would be putting out those statements. We're in the middle of the week. Be rejuvenated, be inspired, have hope that we will continue to persevere during our many challenges. As some of you may be aware, September 10th, last Sunday, is recognized in the world as World Suicide Prevention Awareness Day. In conjunction with Suicide Prevention Month, on September 29th, there will be a Suicide Prevention Awareness Lantern Light hosted by Men's Mental Health Foundation. Especially in discussion with the family after the tragic passing of Justice, Government of St. Martin, we're looking to collaborate to do a similar lantern ceremony, which would have been on the 10th. However, not wanting to replicate, we have decided to collaborate with this foundation. So I'm encouraging the public, but especially our youth, to take part in and show support for this initiative as we collaborate with the foundation to help spread awareness for this very worthy cause. We would really not want for the stress, the sorrow, the pain, the grief that we have experienced over the past couple of weeks to be perpetrated on another family. And we know that there have been many families that have been grappling with the very same over many years. I think one life loss is one too much, and we must do all within our power to ensure that we support others to understand that you are really never, ever alone. As such, we are reaching out to mental health professionals, social workers, to ensure their participation, as well as to give the youth and youth organizations the opportunity to use this as a platform to speak up, to break the silence, to break the stigma, and encourage your peers to do so. I am encouraged that the awareness that is growing within our island, and that the awareness is already growing. More and more people are actually seeking assistance, which is great. Psychosocial professionals are reporting that there are more and more persons within the community that are reaching out for help, including our students in the schools. Please remember, if you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, depression, or any other form of emotional or mental distress, please reach out for help. You are not alone. We all struggle at times with our thoughts, and there are people out there who care about you. There are people out there who want to support you. There are people and resources available to support you on this journey of healing and hope. That is what I really want to reiterate this morning, that you can either, once medically covered by SZV, get a referral to the mental health professional via your house doctor, your general practitioner, and school-going children can also contact their school psychologist, school social worker, mentor, or other persons of trust within the schools or their home family, within their church groups, within social groups, that can also play a role in being active listeners and counselors within the community. The Student Support Services Department upstairs Gatsby is also a place where parents can go, as well as schools and students, to seek assistance. Remember, you are not alone, and together we can build back the hope that may be lost in your heart. I'd like to thank His Excellency Governor Bailey for bringing forth government's goals, policies, programs, and projects for 2023-2024 during his opening of Parliament speech in yesterday's opening ceremony. Moreover, I would like to reiterate especially his closing remarks, which struck a chord with me and with many in the community who were able to follow this ceremony. and I quote, "Our economy is recovering well, and we are seeing a positive impact on the revenue of the country, with pre-Hurricane Irma output now finally expected to be achieved in 2024, leading to an increase in income for the country for the coming years, with expected surpluses in 2024. This for a great part due to government's commitment to sound financial management, to the measures as have been outlined in the reform measures, and the financial injection through liquidity loans and the trust fund, but also due to a stable and consistent government, which will soon be a full governing term, due in part to the commitment of government, but also the support of this esteemed body, meaning the Parliament of St. Martin. But of course, we are not there yet. Although the outlook is positive, this has not yet trickled down to every single person in the street, every Jane and Joe in the street, as he said. So much remains to be done. It will take the continued effort of government, Parliament, the private sector, and the IGOs and NGOs, service clubs, and all the people of St. Martin, the entire village, to achieve, maintain, and sustain a brighter tomorrow for us all and for generations to come. Unquote. These are the words after the governor issued our program as we presented to him to share with the public of St. Martin. These were his words. His words as co-governing with this government, as signing off together with us on our different projects and programs. And it is unfortunate, and I must use this platform to say this, the negativity that has been spouted from that same floor of Parliament just the day before. The negativity towards this government, the negativity towards individual ministers, which we see exacerbated by individuals within our community as well. Bullying can take place in all segments of society. And my opening statements spoke to positivity, spoke to ensuring that mental health is guarded, emotions, people are all ages can experience bullying. And I must say, what I'm seeing in St. Martin with the negativity guarded and guided towards individuals, including my person and others within this Council of Ministers, is unheard of in most other countries. Now, we survive a very difficult period in our history. We cannot forget that. We came off of a hurricane and then the COVID pandemic, which the entire world faced. And we are on our way to thrive once again. And yet, instead of focusing on those positivities, people see it fit to throw stones which can be considered libelous and slanderous with no regard for our laws. Some people tend to say St. Martin is not a real place. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. St. Martin is a real place, and we have laws, and we have ordinances, and there's also a law against libel and slander in our penal code. 223, 224, 25, 6, and 7. Do me a favor, read up on those laws, because the things we say, the things that come out of our mouths have impact. It can be building someone up, or it can be breaking someone down. We cannot, out of one side of our mouth, say that we want to build up the local man, but take the opportunity every time we can to break down the same local man. We are all local men and women here doing our best to represent the people of St. Martin. And it is unacceptable, it is not tolerable, and the laws are there to protect against libel and slander. There is punishment attached to that, and I will save that for another time. But I do hope that people will think before they talk, remembering that what you say have impact, what you say can also cause bullying to take place at other levels, because the bullying remarks you take towards us can also impact our family members. And there should be some level of understanding that, as the old people say, today for me, tomorrow for you. Others are also vying to be in this position. Does that encourage any person to want to be in this field to represent? And don't we want good representatives? Let us keep that in mind when we utter words that have no bearing to the truth, when we utter words that we cannot prove just to play politics. Another statement made on the floor of Parliament that was quite dismaying was that this government is purposefully deregistering persons in order to influence the elections. That is for sure very libelous, because the Ministry of General Affairs, under which the Civil Registry Department falls, follows the laws. And so I have been weekly coming here to this press briefing and asking persons to ensure that their registrations are up to date. By law, if you have moved from your current address, you must, within a particular time, go to the Civil Registry Department and update your records. So once again, I'd like to invite all eligible voters, but all people of St. Martin in general, to ensure that your registrations are up to date. Specifically for the eligible voters, in connection with the upcoming parliamentary elections to be held on January 11, 2024, the following. Citizens are invited to visit the Civil Registry Office on Saturday, October 7th and Saturday, October 14th at the Government Building, Phillipsburg, during the hours of 9 and 12 noon to update your respective profiles. So these discussions were already ongoing to ensure that eligible voters are updated within the civil registry. Why? This is in order to ensure that they receive their voting cards at their physical address. Too many voting cards have been returned in the past years when elections were held, and in an effort to clean up our registry, which is to ensure that we have a correct count of our citizens, as well as ensuring that every voting citizen is properly registered and can receive their cards. That is the process that is taking place at the Civil Registry Department. And I would really like to thank them for the extra hours that they put in to do so. From the Civil Registry Department, you are updated that you as citizens during these 2 Saturdays, which I will repeat, are October 7th and October 14th. Of course, you can always come in during the regular hours as well. You are then able to update your address, update your name and marital status, because if that status has changed, that should also be updated. You can bring in your documents such as birth certificates or marriage and or divorce certificates to prove this. You can always come in to inquire about your voting status. And if a family member has passed away abroad, please provide a death certificate to avoid this person still receiving a voting card. All citizens must present a valid identification document, and if applicable, they can have a utility bill to prove their address or a lease agreement to be able to update their address. To update the profile with breeder documents, please provide these documents along with the legalization and translation if applicable. The management of the Civil Registry Department hope that this opportunity will be used by all concerned voters. And I would like to state that I would hope that with this statement that politicians will cease to be making use of these insane statements that this government seeks to deter anyone from being able to vote. Another initiative of the Civil Registry is carrying out the walk-in service for the renewal of expired ID cards. Starting this Saturday, September 16, from 9 to 12, members of the public can renew expired ID cards without needing an appointment. Simply walk with your expired ID card or a valid passport with a fee of 45 guilders. If the card is lost, there is a fee of 70 guilders. This walk-in service will continue on Saturday, September 23rd and Saturday, September 30th. So, Civil Registry open this Saturday, 16th, next Saturday, the 23rd, and the Saturday thereafter on the 30th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The dates surrounding the elections, I would like to reiterate. The government of St. Martin, in close collaboration with the Central Voting Bureau and also in a short discussion with the Electoral Council, we reiterate the dates, which are as followed. The deadline for registration of new political parties to be able to participate in the upcoming election is October 11, 2023. Nomination or postulation day is November 22nd, 2023, and election day is January 11, 2024. The installation of the new parliament will be on February 10th, 2024. On nomination day, November 22nd, is when the registry for voters will also close. That is why we're doing the extra on Saturdays in October to ensure that all persons are able to ensure that their registration is in order. I saw some of my other colleagues came in, so just one last statement. The AXAR, the Advisory Committee for Slavery and Reparations that has been established, is organizing an event at University of St. Martin this Thursday. That's tomorrow. This event will convene stakeholders from across the island to engage in a transformative dialogue about the needs and gaps that must be addressed in St. Martin's landscape to be able to create, draft, and implement projects and grant proposals. This meeting, setting the stage for collective action, represents the collective determination of AXAR to engage with community leaders and concerned citizens on these topics. The goal is to conclude this event with tangible programs and projects within the context of the commemoration year. That St. Martin will be able to effectively implement addressing the crime of slavery and colonialism, celebrating our cultural heritage, safeguarding the natural environment, and ensuring an equitable future for all our residents on St. Martin. So I do hope that the general public who are interested in this topic will look forward to that. I have received the report and we'll be forwarding it to the Council of Ministers for further discussion. Thank you, Charity. Sorry that I took so long, and hopefully have some questions from the media.
You're most welcome, Honorable Prime Minister. The other ministers who are joining us this morning are from the Ministry of Justice, Anna Richardson, also the Honorable Minister of Romy, Egbert Durant, and none but least, the Honorable Minister of VSA, Omar Otley. These ministers are present, however, will not be making any opening statements, but are available for any questions that member of the media may have. If you've just joined us, you're tuned into the Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, September 13, 2023. At this time, we move on to the question and answer session. Ms. Bibi Hadshaw of SMN News, you have the floor.
Thank you, Charity. Good morning, ministers and colleagues. My first question, since we have 4 members of the council, I'd like to know, does this government still plan to go ahead with the loan and its conditions proposed by the Dutch government to bail out India? Do you honestly believe that the people of St. Martin or taxpayers should shoulder such responsibilities?
I'll take that question. Though the Minister of Finance is leading in the discussions with his colleagues and preparing the documentation, which is going to be discussed in our next Council of Ministers meeting, so I don't want to go into the Council's position per se. I believe this afternoon I'm also in Parliament. This topic is part of the discussions, but in preparing for that, it is clear that we have, as government, from the get-go, from February, sent various letters requesting, as a matter of fact, that these COVID loans be, help me there with the English? Written off. We hear our MP, George Pontiflet, talking about that as well, debt cancellation, canceling that debt based on the fact that it was an emergency situation. In fact, our hurricane loans were also an emergency situation, and that is our stance. However, where we are today, and as you may know or not, the second chamber is deliberating on a budget amendment to be able to move that our loans that have been granted thus far will become due on 10/10/2023. When that takes place, then we don't have to pay that amount come October. There's some 300 and something million guilders that were borrowed. This was borrowed, yes, to be able to tide us over during a very difficult time, and we're grateful that we're able to access those funds. But being part of the kingdom, of course, we would have hoped that it would have been a grant, and that was a discussion back in 2020. We can go back to the days of Raymond Knops with all of the challenges we face. However, on the floor of his second chamber, he mentioned that with good cooperation on the reforms that that some of these loans could be turned into grants. And so even though that's not on the table at the moment, the State Secretary does not have the political support at this time to do so. We trust and hope that with the extension of not having to pay that lump sum at this point, the conditions being offered are more favorable than they were in the beginning and does not impact our debt ceiling as much as Securusau and the others based on where we are. We are looking forward to thereafter still being able to negotiate to be able to reach to that goal that we had from the beginning. So we have not given up on that. We have to deal with the realistic situation at hand, however, which means that 300 and plus million becomes due on 10/10/23 if we do not have the Dutch government agreeing to the second chamber agreeing to amend their budget. So we look forward to that taking place today in the coming meetings. That's taking place in the Netherlands, which is 6 hours ahead. And thereafter, we'll be able to finalize the discussions on what the loan will or will not be moving forward. So government of St. Martin will continue to fight for that.
Thank you, Prime Minister. My second question for the Minister of VSA. Minister, the process to implement the GHI has begun. The Chamber of Labor Unions have said that since 2017, they were given a presentation on the GHI. They made recommendations back then for some changes and stuff to be added, and they were never given any feedback. But government is today moving ahead with the implementation. Have any of the recommendations made by the Chamber of Labor Unions considered? Regarding the GHI, who exactly will be managing these funds? Will it be SZV? Because we still don't know about SZV financials because of the hand dipping in the various funds from taking money from one fund to balance the other fund. So who exactly will manage this fund? And as you are on top of this, Minister, it's a long time, Minister. I haven't seen you in a long time, so you can take this. The inflation, cost of living has increased heavily in St. Martin. There has been no increase in salaries. And also, Minister, pensioners are still receiving, some of them, 300 guilders. For the past 4 years, this government is in office. What exactly was done to alleviate poverty?
Thank you. I can tell that you miss me.
A very long time.
Okay, the first one, as we say implementation is going forward, I want people to realize with the GHI, it cannot be established unless Parliament approves. But the GHI is currently at the SED. It was sent to the SED and sent to the unions again for their feedback and response. We are now awaiting the SED. So once that information is given back to us, which the SED entails employee organizations, we did send it to the unions that represent civil servants, and we are awaiting that feedback. Once that feedback is given, we will then make adjustments and move forward accordingly. And of course, it is legislation that has to go to Parliament, so amendments can be made and so forth. So I ask everyone not to panic, not to fret. You will have your opportunity, and the opportunity is given for you to give your feedback. As it pertains to managing the funds, yes, it'll be SZV. I remember you sent me a question in writing on the SZV financials, but according to the articles of incorporations, SYB makes does the assessment. The assessment is then sent to the minister. The minister's obligation is solely now to review and send to Parliament. So I have no say whether to, let's say, approve or not. SYB will then come and give a presentation to me as the minister, and then I will send it to Parliament. As it pertains to salaries, as Minister of Labor, of course, you know that there was an increase to the minimum wage. So that was indeed our way of, let's say, helping I don't like that, I hate the term small man, but helping those minimum wage earners in the vulnerable positions to increase. I do want to say, though, based on the CPI that was obtained, the CPI globally has now leveled off. So whereby we in previous couple of years, we would see an inflation of 3 point something percent. This year, the difference was 0. The CPI for second quarter 2023 was 0.69, and when you do the difference from 2022, it was 0.0 something. So the inflation, what we see now, is starting to level off, which is obvious because of everything that was going on. It was a steep increase, but now it's leveling off. How are we going to combat this? What we are trying to do is establish a living wage, as stated before, and has been screamed to us from the onset. And what we are doing now is assessing the information from the census in order to help us with this. As stated before, when the Prime Minister was combating the 12.5% cuts, she did request the SER to give us an advice on what the livable wage in St. Martin should be, but there was lack of information, lack of updated data. So since then, she passed the ball to me, and I was blessed to be Minister of TIAT in that moment where we pushed forward with the census. So that information will now be taken, sent back to the SER to develop a livable wage for the country of St. Martin. That's number two. And number three, as it pertains to the pensioners, pension is a scheme by where it's determined by the amount of years you have lived in the country and worked in the country. So many persons receive different amount of pensions, rightfully. We do understand that, yes, with the increase, there should be an increase in pension. That's why I'm happy to say that the CPI legislation was passed in Parliament. The Way did the AINTEX, sent it to Parliament for review because there was an amendment made. So once Parliament approved that amendment, it'll be sent back to us. We will send it to the Council of Ministers, who will then send it to His Excellency for signing. So what we can expect is by October, November, seniors will see an increase in their pension, with the first month being a lump sum of retroactive payment. I think I've answered all 40 of your questions.
You did very well. My question now is to the Minister of Romy. Minister Doran, can you give us an update on the library project? When will demolition begin? And when will the reconstruction begin? A few months ago, there was a fire set at the library. And also, can you tell us a little bit about the repairs? I know you're not education, but I do also know that these things come to you also. The Marie Lawrence School in Middle Region, Charles Leopold Bell School in Cole Bay. Minister, after 4 years being in office, these are projects you met there. We are 6 years after Irma, and up until today, nothing was done. Can you tell us, what is going to happen with these projects that I just asked about? In the same breath, Minister, can you give us an update on the Prince Bernard Bridge that started and today has stopped? You see, I had lots of questions, so I had to call.
I know I'm younger than Minister Utley, but I don't know my brain works like that, but I'll do my best to recap. The first part was the library. As you know, as you rightfully stated, the library falls under the Minister of ECYS. I have not seen a building permit request for the library as yet. So that is insofar that my role goes where that is concerned. Secondly, I signed a building permit for Marie Laurent School, I'll dare to say over a year and a half ago. So that has been approved. It is in the possession of the Catholic School Board. They are now busy with the process because I know that there was a situation where the land ownership and who the building will ultimately belong to, that was a debate that took place between those stakeholders, the Ministry of ECYS and NRPB. I know that that was a tedious process because, as you know, you're using, in this case, Dutch taxpayers' money through the trust fund. So you have to make sure that private entity or private persons are not benefiting from it. That's why in most of our projects, I'll just use the housing project, for example, it has to be under government ownership. Everything has to be under government ownership before we can move forward. In the case of Marie Laurent School, that is not the case. So they had to explore a different legal route to make sure that the funds and the asset are safeguarded. I don't want to comment too much on it because I was not part of those discussions. My role stops when it comes to the building permit and the ultimate inspections of the building based on a Ministry of Environment perspective. Indeed, I agree with you. It has been 6 years since the hurricane passed, and I sure, even as a member of parliament, and I continue to advocate or say it as even as a minister, that I find that all the bureaucracy really takes too much time. But again, dealing with the World Bank and the procedures and the agreements that were made, although a previous government, it's still processes that we have to follow. It's not the Minister Duran, but it's the minister and it's the office. Those agreements were made. We are following through with those agreements. We have seen a lot of our projects come to fruition. You focus on the bad ones, but I'm going to give you some insight on the good ones. Belvedere, all those almost 70 units that were completed, the underground infrastructure project, all the shelters that I've been talking about for a lot of years, all of them are completed, equipped, water tanks, generators, fire and ambulance building, and the list goes on and on and on. So I'll leave it for the Minister of Education to comment on the process when it comes to the library, but that is just some insight from my perspective. Thank you.
Bibi, proceed.
That's
all your questions?
No, I have.
Okay, I'll allow you 2 more questions and then we wrap up.
All right. Prime Minister, from the 7 SGs that we have in government, in office, how many of them are in acting position and how many of these SGs have been screened?
Wow, Bibi, that's a question I'll definitely have to go back to the drawing board for. I don't want to make a statement here that will be published in the headlines and it's not accurate. So allow me to send that information to you in writing. I do know that I believe only 1 at this point, for sure. Well, no, let me don't comment on it until I have it fully in writing for you, which I'll provide in writing.
Thank you, Prime Minister. And Minister Doran, are we storm ready? 2 pumps are down. Trenches not cleaning on a structural basis. What is happening with the drainage management of St. Martin?
Thank you for the question, Bibi. I know for sure we are storm ready. We have had some challenges with the pumps. I explained a couple months ago that we're busy now in the process of procuring new pumps with the Ministry of BZK. The entire VROMI team, SORB, is also assisting us with that is concerned. As you know, again, as I mentioned, when you're dealing with taxpayers' money, there's a lot of bureaucracy. We do our utmost every couple of months, weeks, to control and make sure that the trenches are cleared. I've seen the Herald, like they're walking around every week posting a picture of a trench that is blocked. So I thank them for that because some of them maybe we have missed. So I appreciate that as well. They're doing the extra work for us and assisting us because I believe that it is a joint effort for all of us to make sure that we are prepared. I know that there was an issue as well in Ebenezer with a long-standing trench, especially where, let's say someone didn't build a wall correctly and basically the house and the dirt is being undermined and flowing in the trench. Again, at no fault to us, but we have to do what we have to do to protect our citizens. So if your question is, we are storm ready? Yes, we are storm ready. I know that when there's a storm, there are many water management professionals on Facebook, especially those that used to work within the ministry and also head the team of those persons that are there now pushing and doing their best. I find that quite unfortunate to create, havoc amongst the population. But the team over there are doing their best. I support them. And we learn from every event when we get it or not. And we're just glad that we were spared from Hurricane Lee.
You forgot to give me an update on the Prince Bernard Bridge and why there's a work stop.
The work has stopped because we had an issue to get the steel plates. All the work that you see that was done there was done in-house. So we're waiting to get these steel plates. When I say in-house, done by VROMI staff. So we're waiting to get the steel plates in order to put them there to finish up with the basic works that are destined to happen now.
Thank you.
Maybe I will grant you another question as we have enough time. One last question.
Well, I think this is the time I'll ask Minister Doran. There was an employee that causes a storm, a Vromi employee that went to the Captain Rib Shack with some statements. Prior to that, there was an alleged sexual, a complaint of sexual harassment against this person. Can you tell me what measures were taken after the investigation conducted by PNO, and what exactly were the conclusions?
You want me to say that here on this forum?
Yes.
Well, I don't think
You don't have to go into details, Minister,
but
but
asked me
there
pure
was
details just now.
no. There was an investigation. There was a complaint that was made public.
Correct.
What exactly was done? Based on
Well,
what we know, the person was sent home for 2 weeks, and then
Well,
everything went dead.
I can't say that a complaint was made public. I would say some people publicize it. That's a difference. As you know, in government, I'm gonna use this example. In order to give somebody a warning letter, it has to go through the governor. PNO is the body is our HR. They're the body responsible for doing investigations, disciplinary measures, and all those things. Indeed, investigation was done, is being done to determine the way forward. I'm not gonna comment any details on it on this platform. I just don't feel it's decent. But I want the general public to know that all steps and all measures have been taken to deal with this in the most serious way to conclude, to come to a conclusion then as to what the situation is and come out of it. The school was involved as well, student support services, all the different stakeholders that had to be involved in a potential situation like this have been consulted and are being consulted by PNO. But as a minister of Vromi, I have no investigative role where that is concerned. They have to draw their conclusions, present it to me, and also in the form of an advice on how to deal with a situation like this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much, all ministers, and also thank you, Bibi, for being here with us today. Honorable ministers of the council and member of the media, we'd like to thank you for being a part of today's broadcast, radio listeners, and also online viewers. This brings us to the end of the live Council Ministers Press Briefing for today, Wednesday, September 13, 2023. For rebroadcast, be sure to tune in to St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM. Also, Telem's Tel TV Plus, the official Facebook page, Government of St. Martin, YouTube channel, Government of St. Martin, and for video on demand, log on to the government official Facebook page and YouTube channel as well. On behalf of our Department of Communication and the Government of St. Martin, I'm Charity Dunker. Thank you very much for tuning in.